What if you were offered a role in a $6 million film, but were warned that Hollywood would never want to work with you again? Our guest today faced that very situation. Find out how she handled this dilemma here on Faith on Film. Hello and welcome to Faith on Film. I'm very excited about today's show because I met this young lady, I don't know, about 5 years ago, and I remember thinking that she was like a 16-year-old teenager. Found out later she was actually older than that, which means that her good living has really done her well. Let me give her the proper introduction and then we'll get right going with her here. Stacey Bradshaw started her career on stage, first in high school plays and then graduating from college with a BA in theater. Since then, she has transitioned from stage to screen and has played leading and supporting roles in more than 35 films. That's a lot of films. Since 2012. Her passion is to help tell redemptive stories that will inspire and encourage viewers and shine a light into the darkness. Stacy, welcome to Faith on Film. How are you today?
Oh, good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, especially since you're really, I see, some people say you're a star. I say you're a shooting star because it just your career has just taken off all of a sudden. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into filmmaking, probably specifically Christian filmmaking. I don't know if you've done anything outside of Christian, but tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I have a background in theater. So I knew from a young age that I wanted to be an actress. But of course, we all have these dreams, and sometimes they seem a little impossible. Like, how is that going to happen? Because especially back then, there weren't any Christian films being made. And so I didn't know, how this was going to become a reality. So I pursued theater. I went to college, majored in theater, had a great time. And then around that time, Christian films were just starting to become more of a thing. And I was hearing about this, and I was like, wow. Maybe this is actually an option for me. That's something I can pursue. And so once I graduated from college, I really shifted into pursuing film. And so I started sending out auditions, and I had no idea what I was doing back then. It's really kind of embarrassing to look back.
But wait a minute. You look like you're like 21 right now. How long ago are we talking about here that there wasn't Christian films being made as much?
Several years.
Okay. You're not going to tell your age. I get it.
Right, but it was several years ago. So, so I put out auditions, and for 2 years, I didn't get cast in anything. I knew I still wanted to be involved in film somehow, so I worked crew on a couple of films. I met George Escobar, and he got me connected with the first features that I worked on, Hero and Alone Yet Not Alone. And so I was just a props PA for those, the bottom of the bottom of the chain. And I just had a great time learning about what it's like on a film set and how that world works and functions. And but I really got to a place after a couple of years where I was starting to get very discouraged and thinking, well, maybe I don't have what it takes to be an actor. Maybe I'm not any good at this. I hadn't done any acting for years at this point, and was really to the point where I was almost ready to give up, because I just kept sending out auditions and never got any callbacks or anything. And then all of a sudden, just the way God does things, in the same year, in 2012, I got 2 leading roles. So I went from a background extra to a leading actress with nothing in between. And that doesn't happen very often. And that's just the power of God right there.
Sure,
I don't take any credit for that, but it's just God opening the doors for me. And so in the summer of 2012, I went up to Michigan for the Wednesday Morning Breakfast Club, which was a 45-minute film. And I just had a wonderful time up there. And then that fall, I was the lead in Touched by Grace, co-starring with Ben Davies.
Right.
And that was very overwhelming to me because there was a lot of, very experienced actors on the set. I came in as a total rookie, didn't know what I was doing, and I was the lead of the movie. And so it was a bit scary. But just from the very first scene that we filmed, I felt, like Eric Liddell says, when he ran, he felt God's pleasure. Just that experience, like just from the very first moment we started filming on that movie, I just knew this was what God wanted me to do. And I was exactly where he wanted me to be. And it's amazing over the years because, it always goes up and down, right? So you'll have busy seasons. The next year, 2013, I was crazy busy all year. In fact, my health suffered for it. And then a couple years after that, I had almost no films at all. So it's just this up and down. It's a roller coaster. You never know what's going to happen.
That's this career, isn't it? It's the acting career. Sometimes you're up there,
Yeah.
sometimes you're down. I remember you. In fact, the first film that I saw you on was, in fact, the Wednesday morning Breakfast Club, which I found you to. I found the character to be so refreshing. Just a nice young girl that really cared about people, and you just had this very nice and warm feeling about you. Of course, when I did meet you, I found out that you probably weren't even acting at that point. That really was you. Then I remember Touched by Grace. But you've done so many films, and I didn't realize it was such a tough journey for you. Now, I read something about you that I find interesting, and I think you might want to touch on it for just a little bit. We got like a minute left in this segment. I read something where you feel that you are an old-fashioned girl in a modern world. What does that mean?
Oh, well, from a young age, I grew up watching movies from the 1940s and 50s, and they're my favorite. It's my favorite era. I just feel like I was born to live in that era. So I love all the classic things from way back then.
Have you done a really major period piece?
I have not. I've done a few short films. They were kind of set back, kind of a vintage, kind of 40s feel to them, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Well, folks, if you're out there and you're planning on making a movie that takes place back in the, 30s, 40s, this is your girl, okay? Well, I know that one of the most exciting things I'm imagining for you is that you recently were cast in a movie that has I don't know if I should say it's broken records, but it certainly has broken their expectations. And that is, of course, the movie Unplanned. How did you come across that role?
That's another God story. They reached out to me. The producers reached out to me in January of 2018 and invited me to audition. And it was just incredible.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick little break right now. And when we come back, I want to hear all about it and how that whole process, came about. And what's happened with the film since then. All right. So, folks, Don't go away. We'll be right back with more with Stacy.
Cell reproduction, more than duplication. It's careful selection and organization, ensuring the perfect balance for development and growth. Powerful, so is our programming. Parables, the leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
Sight and Sound Theaters invites you to experience one of the most powerful Bible stories ever told.
Samson, you're going to deliver our people from the Philistines.
God gave him the strength to fight thousands.
Where does he get his strength from? Nobody's that strong.
But his greatest challenge will be living with his own choices.
Who are you?
Delilah.
We want you to find out the secret of his strength.
We will destroy Samson.
Playing in Branson for one last encore season. Get ready for a mighty adventure for the whole family.
You are my rock and my strength. Be with me today.
Samson, live on stage at Sight and Sound Theaters in Branson, Missouri.
I wonder how long a dolphin lives. I wonder if they can make cookies in space. I wonder when people started brushing our teeth.
I wonder if people and dinosaurs ever lived together.
Want to find out?
I wonder how much a cloud weighs.
Hello and welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with Stacey Bradshaw, who has just been on so many films that I can't believe how many films she's been on when she looks like she's only about 21. You know what? One thing I do want to do is, folks, if you're watching right now your young daughters are near you, get them to this TV right now, because Stacy's a great role model for them. So they don't want to miss that. If you don't, if they're not near you, go to the YouTube channel that I have, Faith on Film TV, and get them to watch this show. Stacy, so here you get cast in a movie that has just done amazing. I heard the last I heard, it had done over 18 million at the box office, and that's that they really the media pretty much tried to bury it. But so tell me more. You know that you said that God is the one that kind of opened that door. So give me kind of the journey of how all this happened and what it's done for you.
Yeah, so I got an email from one of the producers in January of last year inviting me to audition. And to be honest, when I got the email at first, I thought it was a joke or a prank of some kind, because I was like, how can they know who I am? Like this, what in the world? You know, the producers and writers of God's Not Dead want me to audition for their movie, you know. And but sure enough, they were familiar with me through Touched by Grace and some of my other films, and had been wanting to work with me, and I had no idea. So it's just amazing. And I didn't have an agent. I only just signed with an agent a few months ago. So all these years I've been self-represented, and it's just God's been such an amazing agent for me. And so so I auditioned for one of the roles, and it was a long process. You know, they were trying to get everything figured out with casting and funding. And finally, they started filming. And by that point, like, I hadn't been cast yet. And so I was like, ooh, maybe I must not have gotten a role, because they started rolling cameras like yesterday, you know. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call from Chuck and Carrie saying, hey, we figured out a role for you. Can you be in Oklahoma in 4 days? And I said, wow. Yes, I can. So I flew to Oklahoma, jumped right into filming, had a couple days, had several days break. So I flew to California for the first time and visited friends, came back for 8 or 9 more days of filming. And it was just a life-changing experience for me. It was incredible. I have been on so many Christian films, but I've never felt the presence of the Holy Spirit more strongly than I did on that set. And I think one thing that really made a huge difference was that they had a dedicated prayer and ministry team that was there every day, just praying over the set and ministering to everybody there. And it was just incredible to be a part of that. Just that process impacted me so deeply. But then to see what has happened since it's released, just the timing of it. They wanted to make this film 5 years ago, and God told them to wait. Wow. And then he finally gave them the green light. And now look, when it's coming out, like when it's just the perfect timing for this message and how deeply it's impacting our culture. And I have wept just seeing the impact that it's having, to see pro-choicers becoming pro-life, mothers deciding not to abort their babies, pro-lifers getting more involved, and abortion workers leaving the industry. And yeah, just the success that it's had in the box office, and just the support from everybody that's gone out to see it and made that possible. It's just so overwhelming to me that I got to be a part of that. It's such a blessing.
Yeah, and it is perfect timing, because just all that's going on right now with some of the states wanting to, you know, legalize even abortions after birth. You know, that's not even an abortion. It's all a murder. But my goodness, to even do it after the baby's born, I don't see how they can go there. So I'm assuming that's why they said you would never be able to work in Hollywood, because of the fact that it was a pro-choice movie, or I'm sorry, a pro-life movie.
Pro-life, yes. When they called me, Chuck and Carrie said, "No, we want you in the movie, but we have to warn you, Hollywood's never going to want to work with you again."
And that didn't matter to you?
No, I said, you know, my ambition was never to go to Hollywood. My heart is really just to be a part of the faith-based films. Yeah. And I said, I'd be happy doing pro-life movies the rest of my life. It's something I care so deeply about. And that's where my heart is. And there's no better place for me than to, you know, just fulfill God's calling for my life.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting, because you did mention the timing, and it's interesting that actually I think there's like at least three movies that have come out that are all pro-life movies right now, and it seems like God was just preparing a big barrage of, you know, pro-life movies to hopefully impact our culture here. I honestly believe that this is very grieving to God's heart. You know, the idea of just killing life, killing babies. Because I believe that the minute there's conception, and I'm going to go on a limb here and say that even if it's through rape or incest, the minute there's conception, God puts a plan in that baby's life. He puts a purpose. And for us to want to end that purpose is basically saying, God, we don't care what your purpose is. We it's just not convenient for us. And so it's a really sad thing. It's gotta hurt his heart quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when we filmed the scene with the blue barrels outside the abortion clinic, and I was standing there, and just in rehearsal, and I was just looking at those barrels and thinking about what they contained, for the purpose of the story, and it just, and my heart just broke in that moment in a way that I had never experienced before. And I feel like it was just God letting me feel a fraction of his pain. And so we filmed that scene for hours, and I just wept from the bottom of my heart. I just wept every time the cameras were rolling because it hurt so bad.
Yeah, when I saw the movie and it showed really the abortion being performed, I have to admit that was very impactful for me. Just to see the baby, reacting to that, it made it very real. Because sometimes we're kind of removed from that, and abortion, it's God doesn't like it, but to actually see it was just very impactful. So I'm glad they did put that scene, even though that's what got him the R rating. Hey, whatever it takes. Actually, I think it was a blessing to have all that happening, because it just brought it out more into the into the media, so we could all know about it. So anyway, we're going to take one more break here, Stacy, and then we're going to come back and talk to you about what's in your future. I imagine you have plans and ideas and thoughts, and I know that the way God's been kind of leading your life, I that there's some great things happening, or great things that are about to happen for you. So folks, don't go away. We've got so much more to come with Stacy.
Sunflowers. To pollinate and reproduce, they turn and face the sun. Nature's way of reminding us that for ultimate growth, we must seek the light. Parables. The leader in empowering entertainment. Parables. Be empowered. Start your free trial today.
I wonder if penguins have knees. I wonder how many colors we can't see. I wonder why there's so many stars in the universe. I wonder if we ever look like apes.
You want to find out?
I wonder if puppies have belly buttons.
Hello and welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here with Stacey Bradshaw, who I just have such admiration for. I mean, we need great role models for our, especially our young girls, and I can tell you that is her. Stacy, so now you've been in one of the probably biggest films of this year. I mean, when I say biggest, not necessarily because it had the biggest box office of all Christian films that came out this year, but because I think it had the greatest impact. What's next for you?
Well, I am very excited. I'm going to be heading to Colorado this July for an action comedy called Sleeper Agent.
Oh.
This will be my first time playing a villain. I am a cyber hacker chick.
No.
No. Yeah, I'm finally going to break out that mold of the next door. So it's gonna be fun. And then in the fall, I'll be doing a romantic comedy called Better Than One out in Ohio, and that's going to be really exciting because my role is a flashback set in the 1940s. So
there you go. See, I didn't know that. That's why I was asking somebody. Look at that. God had answered already.
Yeah, so I'm very excited.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. You know what? Actually, I said no when you talked about being the villain, but I think it's great to expand your acting chops, if you will. I interviewed Shannon Fields, in fact, the program just before yours. And I remember, I always think of her as that wife on Facing the Giants who was just so happy that she finally got pregnant. And on this latest movie that she's in, she plays the mom wanting her daughter to have an abortion. And I was like, oh my goodness, no, but no, it's kind of exciting. So tell me a little bit more, though, about this Sleeper Agent movie.
Yeah, so it stars Leland Clausen, who's a comedian from Canada.
He's hilarious.
And it's just, I read the updated script last night, and it is hilarious. Like, I'm just laughing just reading the script. I cannot wait. It has a really great cast lineup coming, and just a lot of, it's really funny, a lot of comedy, and just some fun action, like spy stuff mixed in.
So awesome. We do need to expand the style or the genres of faith-based film, because they tend to be kind of the same genre, and to kind of expand out into comedy. And I've even said something recently that kind of got the people to look at me like I'm nuts, and that is that maybe we should start considering faith-based horror films. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I like thrillers.
I know. Well, and I guess people think of the word horror, and that's what throws them off. But I'm talking about things that are not your, nice dog and pony movies kind of a thing. So this will be interesting to see. So, Stacy, how can people get a hold of you if they want to write you, if they want to learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, my website is a great hub for all of that. It's Stacey-Bradshaw.com, and that's Stacy with an EY. That often gets misspelled. But my website, they can write me, they can, view my information and connect to me on social media and stuff like that.
Well, that'll be terrific. Folks, I really encourage you to go to that website and to not only see what she's doing, but drop her a little note and even just let her know that you're praying for her. Being in the faith-based film industry is not that easy. And as you can see by the particular one that she just did, Unplanned, the devil is going to attack in all sorts of ways. So your prayers are very much needed. So let her know you're praying for her. I'm sure that'll be very encouraging for her. Stacy, the time flies on these shows, but I'm so glad you took the time to be with us today and to just share a little bit about what you're doing.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Fantastic. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
I'm Jonah. I'm from Fort Worth.
I'm Noah Long from Colorado.
Hi, I'm Rayma. I'm from Oklahoma.
From TFI, I expected to be in a classroom and to be on set, but what I got was so much more.
I expected a lot of classroom situations, but what I got was a lot more hands-on, and it was more tailored to your interest in the filmmaking world.
A lot of great teaching and information that I could apply to what I love and what I do.
I came to TFI for my mom. She is really passionate about learning film and directing, and so I came as a favor to her, and I'm really glad that I did.
Get over here to TFI.
The acclaimed Creation Museum and outreach of Answers in Genesis is a one-of-a-kind museum filled with animatronic characters, interactive videos, a spectacular planetarium, a special effects theater, and many other world-class exhibits. Since its opening in 2007, the Creation Museum has welcomed millions of guests at its 49-acre location in the greater Cincinnati area. The dramatic finale of the museum is The Last Adam film, where guests experience the glory of God's redemptive plan and hear a clear and powerful presentation of the gospel message. Since the museum's opening, we have heard countless testimonies from adults and young people whose lives have been changed through a museum visit. Now discover how it might change your own life for Christ. Plan your visit at creationmuseum.org and prepare to believe.
Welcome back to Faith on Film. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Stacey Bradshaw, who has had such a great career. And of course, this new movie that she was a part of, Unplanned, is just only going to take her even to higher and higher levels. Make sure that you go visit her website. And again, just write her a note and just let her know that you're praying for her. Also, I want to invite you to write our show here at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know that you're watching the show. Let me know what you think of the show. I would like to hear from you. There's no way for me to know if you're there or not unless you write me a note. So do so at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And of course, check out my Facebook page at Faith on Film TV. And not only look at it, but like it. Hit that little like button so that I can start knowing again that you're there. I do want to remind you also of Parables TV, a place where you can watch a lot of these great films that I talk about here on the show. Great faith-based films, documentaries, reality shows, children's shows, comedy shows, all kinds of great content for you and your family to enjoy. Simply go to parables.tv. That's parables.tv. And also, of course, follow me on Facebook, and which I already mentioned, but Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's so many social media things, but just follow me on that at Faith on Film TV. So again, until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Faith on Film. I pray each episode stirs up a desire in you to support good faith-based entertainment. All who are involved in faith-based entertainment are doing so with a strong desire to provide you with content that both inspires and helps you maintain a good, healthy soul. As you know, just like we feed our bodies healthy food in order to maintain good health, we must at the same time feed our souls healthy entertainment to keep it strong. The purpose of this show is to raise awareness about those filmmakers who are creating this great healthy content and to help you get to know them better. So write me and let me know how we are doing. Simply send me an email at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. To stay up to date on new and exciting events, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Faith on Film TV. Also, let your friends know about this show and invite them to like the Facebook page so they too can keep up to date on what is going on with Faith on Film. Thank you and God bless.